Are you over 40 and ready to share your faith through content creation? Now is the time. I hit 5 million views last year using my video content script template, and I want to give it to you for free. It's valued at $2,000 because of its potential, but this season is about purpose, not profit. I believe in giving value, so this game changing tool is yours at no cost. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to get started. Let's take your content to the next level. Let's go. And learned it. And but I got to move on to this right here, Dr. Yarbrough. I know that you're a counselor with 25 plus years of experience in all levels of counseling. Dr. Yarbrough, I know the experience is quite deep. I won't even go through all the things you counsel, but I don't see anything that you don't counsel. You know. But let's go in regards to marital counseling. There is now I know there has been a story that has been done a lot on Doug Weiss, but I want to go back to Dirty Doug. I want to talk about him. Now I know I said Dirty Doug, you ain't got to say that, but the thing that mainly popped out with him is the whole hypocrisy with having been married, having a counseling service that's based on marriage. When people want to look at if you, is based on marriage, and then you go through a divorce. Now he's married to Joni Lamb. Now, I want to get into some of his marital counseling things and ask you, as a counselor, your expert opinion, what in the world is intimacy anorexia? What is that? I don't know what I would do if I was praying for people and somebody came to me and said, I need prayer for this condition that I have called intimacy anorexia. And because I'm going to look and be like, I think you really need deliverance from a Doug Weiss demon that you got. I see that spirit operate. What is this? Have you heard of this before? And what is it?
I didn't hear of it until Doug said it. I know what each word independently means. Putting them together doesn't make sense to me because of what anorexia actually is.
Come on.
It's an eating disorder. It's got nothing to do with your marriage. It's not a psychological disorder. It is an eating disorder. You don't eat enough food. When you do eat enough food, you upchuck it because you think you're fat. Okay. So what? My marriage thinks it's too fat and it's upchucking intimacy. That's what it sounds like to me when I hear the terminology. Intimacy anorexia makes absolutely no sense, and I get it. I get you're trying to be creative for your counseling business. I get you're trying to be creative for your seminars and your retreats. But sometimes people can get a little too creative and not pay attention to what they're actually saying. For a long story short, my wife and I, when we first got married, we came home to these postcards and big envelopes in the mail, and they were from a particular person. And when I say the terminology without saying his name, you're going to know who I'm talking about. That calls himself the master prophet.
Yeah. E. Bernard Johnson. Come on, I know you.
And the master prophet kept sending these letters to my wife to come to his conferences, to be a part of his school, to have her own personal prophet, and then come to the school and learn how to be a prophet and all this stuff. And there was a particular word that kept showing up in the mail. And first, and I had a number of problems with that word, plus the fact that he could not get my wife's name right, and he's a prophet. But the word he used was prophetology.
Oh my God!
And he gave this elaborate story about how angels were flying around with letters in a vision, and the angels, when the angels landed, it spelled out prophetology. And it bugged me into the point where I had to write him and say, "Sir, you sound like a complete idiot. Leave my wife alone. She's married to a prophet." Because prophetology, anything with the suffix ology on it, means the study of.
Study of.
That you are that.
I don't know. And this is one of the things that bothers me so much about, and we know why people fall for this kind of thing is because of biblical illiteracy. People are not reading their Bible. We understand that. That's why discernment is off like it is. But with this intimacy anorexia, I looked at this and was just like, I understood that it was a business thing, him trying to come up with something new that he could use. But then it goes even further where he gets into crazy stuff like telling men that they have blessed man parts and cursed man parts. What are we looking at babies in the hospital and telling them, well, no, that baby right there got a cursed man part? How far are we going? I mean, why are we basing stuff on sex so much? Dr. Yerba, I know if sex is all you bring into a marriage, y'all got some problems. You got to bring more than, you get what I'm saying? It's got to be more to the table. I'm just saying, maybe I'm going too far. But how is it you getting with the man parts being blessed to curse?
I
Dr.
don't know
Yerba,
where they came from because
try.
I have yet to see chapter and verse that supports that.
I'm
So
trying my best to not act up with that. Oh, I got the jokes.
I'll get it because I was the same when I saw it. I had to stop myself from laughing when I saw it because like, are we serious? Because when I do Christian counseling, everything must be scripturally supported,
Come on.
must be scripturally based. So he's supposed to be a Christian counselor. Where is that supported in scripture? Where is that based in scripture? I find it nowhere. And then this whole thing, everything was about sex with him, which, in my professional opinion, just gonna give my professional opinion. And hold on.
Come on.
Let me bracket what I'm about to say. I want to see if this can be seen on camera. If I can get it
I think
seen.
the green screen. There you go. I said push it close. There you go. We
Okay.
see it. We see
This
it.
thing is, it's a cup that they gave me as a joke in church. Says, I might be wrong, but I doubt it. I'm a Yardbird.
Come on.
So I'm gonna bracket this statement with that. I
Okay.
might be wrong, but I doubt it.
Okay.
But there is a phenomenon known as sexual addiction. Okay. And when all you have to talk about in counseling is sex, 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 that's indicative that you have an obsession with sex and are probably sexually addicted. Because something I teach in marriage counseling, in every counseling session I do, as I tell them, there is a difference in marriage between intimacy and sex. That we have been taught to view intimacy in the marriage as just sex. And intimacy in marriage goes far beyond the physical act of sex. Can I make love to you mentally and spiritually? I have told couple in nearly 18 years of marriage, I figured out the secret of how to make love to my wife from clear across a room.
Come on, sir.
It is not the physical act.
Right.
I've told the story. We both went through multiple surgeries in just the first 2 years of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't sex, it was intimacy.
There you go.
Can you mentally stimulate me?
Right.
Can you stimulate my spirit man?
Dr. Yarbrough, because this intimacy thing that he's talking about gonna have people out here with all this sex, and they in divorce court musty because they didn't had all this sex. I know I said what I said, and never got the intimacy. And I love what you said about that's most likely that he has an addiction, right?
Yeah.
And calling out people or saying that everything is an addiction, and seemed like this whole thing was geared. We did looked at it, but it seemed like it was geared to benefit the man over the woman, the husband. Oh, did you? I don't know. That just
I saw that. Yeah,
that's
I
just what I
definitely
saw.
watching videos of his seminars, watching the things that he said on camera on several shows, and hearing the testimonies of people that he counseled.
Right.
Yeah, it was always geared to benefit the husband.
Okay.
The wife was always the bad apple in the relationship, and that's bad to do counseling that way. I was going counseling. I was like, look, I am the neutral party. I'm the neutral zone, like Star Trek. I favor no side over the other.
Right.
I will call whoever's wrong. I will call them wrong. Whoever's right, I will call them right. 9 times out of 10, both of you are wrong. So it's a situation.
Yes,
If there's conflict in the marriage, 9 times out of 10, both parties are wrong.
you're right.
And so
I
that's the
agree.
situation. But I will point to where you are wrong and why you are wrong, and not favor one side over the other. I, I don't pick favorites because I don't have a dog in the race. It is what it is with marriage counseling, that we must, as counselors, our job is to play the middle, not play one side over the other. And
Mm,
Doug seems to want to play like a misogynist.
right,
Like,
right.
it's always the wife's fault. The wife is the cause of the failure. Well, and here's what bugged me when I saw. There were wives that were going to him because their husbands cheated. And he made the cheating the wife's fault.
I saw that as well. I wasn't going to go there, Dr. Yarrow, but I saw that as well, and that grieved me to no end that he would do that. It's victim blaming, you know. Speak to that. I'm sorry, I jumped in there a little too early. Go ahead, because that, yeah.
That made no sense to me, because I've counseled couples where infidelity has been an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I call whoever's wrong. If the husband cheated, you're dead wrong for cheating. You don't have an excuse for cheating. That there was, I don't care what she did to you, there was no excuse for cheating, because if you have to cheat, then why did you either get or stay married? Why? You have a problem, sir, and that problem needs to be addressed. And usually the problem is the environment you keep yourself in and the company you keep. That's
Come on,
generally the problem.
come on.
You keep the wrong company and you go to the wrong environments. Without saying any names, there was a couple I counseled some years back. Husband went through the loss of a job due to injury. And of course, I get it. That's some psychological trauma on a man
Yeah.
to lose the job, not be able. You have a wife, you have a child, you have to provide for. Well, he started hanging out with some particular friends of his, trying to do a new line of work, and ends up cheating. And so I get the call, hey, Dr. Yarbrough, can you come help save our marriage? I held that brother to task. Hey, look, you can't keep doing this. You got a wife, you got a child, which means you have responsibilities. You cannot do this and make excuses for it, because there is no excuse. Because in my military career, we used to say this: the maximum effective range of an excuse is 0.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excuse gets you no traction, it gains you no ground.
Right.
And this, you have no leg to stand on, you have no argument. You must give her space to be angry. She has every right to be angry. She has every right to be hurt. So if she doesn't want to talk to you, then she doesn't want to talk to you. She doesn't want to acknowledge you're present. She doesn't want to do that for a while. She has to go through her own healing process. Your job is to help her heal by being honest, being forthright, being upfront, being at home when you're supposed to be. Well, I get it. I'm a counselor in the middle of counseling, because I recommend a minimum of 10 sessions. In the middle of minimum counseling, here's what happens. He does it again. I get another call. You got to come out here. So he does it again. And he's got his head hanging, this, that, and the third. Give me the circumstances of it. Okay, you go out with your buddies, you get to drinking, you drink, your buddies are out there, all your friends are single. That's the first problem.
Right,
You're
right.
a man with a bunch of single friends. You have no married friends. And then the other thing is you get out there and you get to drinking and you lose control of your judgment. So here's the thing. Those guys aren't your wingman. I'm your wingman. I'm too old to be going to the club, but I'll go to the club and get you if I have to. So the next time you find yourself in that situation, pick up the phone. I don't care what time of the night it is. Call me, because I'm going to do what a real friend should do: take you back home to your wife.
Right, right.
I don't have to tell her the sort of details of why I did it. Just here he is. I'm dropping him off where he belongs. Well, he didn't follow that advice. What did he do? Cheat a third time. They ended up divorcing.
Oh, yeah. He had. Do you think that was more? Okay, let me ask you that, because I know because I don't want to analyze or go through all of that, because I know there are some questions there, but we're dealing with the whole thing of the victim blaming with women, and what Doug Weiss does as far as that, which is definitely not what you need to do. But you're willing to go that far, Dr. Yarbrough, and help. I'm not saying everybody, but just in that case, you would have went to go get that brother out of that situation.
Yes, I would have gone. If he had called me, I don't care if it was 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I would have said, okay, I'm on my way. Be outside of the place. I'm on my way to get you. When I get you, I'm going to get you sober and take you home to your wife. That is my job. And I've offered that to many people, to say, I will come get you out of the troubled situation. That's what I will do. That's the kind of counselor I am. Every counselor doesn't do that. I will do that, and I do that because I understand how it is. I not that I've ever cheated, but I've battled the demon of alcoholism.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
battled the demon of depression, and I've come out on the other side of it successful. I've gone to the support. I know how to go to the support I need when things start happening. I won't lie. I won't lie to say temptation is not out there, because it is.
Right. It is.
It is. And men are visual creatures. Let's be honest. We look. But I say this, and I have a way of saying it that I've said it for decades now. I can window shop. I just can't buy anything.
Right. Right. Dr. Yerbo, I know that there are a lot of things that, because we're going to talk more about that, and I'm going to pause right here to just let everybody know, my wife and I have a big announcement that we're going to make as far as some things that are coming up or whatever. But I think that the conversation on marriage and different things like that needs to be had more. Now, I want to get to this right here, Doc.